Welcome to the Discover Montcalm Podcast, where we are going to look at the communities, the businesses, the attractions, and the people that make up Montcalm County. Here is your podcast host, Cara Stevens.
Welcome back to the Discover Montcalm Podcast. Cara Stevens with your local radio station, M1063 WGLM and Backroads Radio. We are here today with Mike, and we have a new program on the station as well. It's called Continuous Miracle. It's on Sunday mornings from 11 to noon, and it's all about sobriety, your journey. Want to hear from other people. What brought this about, Mike?
Hey, Cara, my sidekick, Scott, it was his germ of an idea. And he said, you want to take a part in this? And I said, well, heck yes. It's because they can't get me to stop talking. Big part of it. Yep. Anyway, and I'm kind of a local boy from Greenville most all my life. And I don't know about the big city, but I kind of ram around the Montcalm rural area. And that's what I know about. I don't know if I know that well, but I know my background is hanging around the Montcalm area. And I've been in recovery about 9 years. And I go to a lot of meetings in the area.
Sure.
And some 2 years ago, some things changed. Well, my partner in life passed, and I needed something to do with myself. And my sponsor in AA, Scott, he said, we call it voluntold. He told me to get busy. And the next thing you know, I'm involved in what's going on with the MAC, the local Montcalm Lano Club.
Yep. On
Montcalm Street in Greenville. And at about the same time as that, a group from Ferris State was trying to find out what the resources in the area were and how those might work together better.
Sure.
So about the time I'm voluntold to do something, I get on the board at the MAC and I meet these people, and they're trying to help. And a big part of our show is what these different people that are helping in the community are doing.
Yep. And there's more than just doctors, more than just lawyers, more than just courts.
Oh, my goodness. You wouldn't believe the different people that are in the recovery community. Like Cara said, we got doctors. Well, that's who people go to when they have the jitters and the shakes and can't figure it, stuff like that, or whatever their health, they'll shot their liver. Doesn't really matter for different reasons. Oh, I got to back up. Got a saying in AA: you either get here from the liver, law, or love. And the liver is just a reference to the health aspect of it, and the law means...
well, we all know what the law means.
And the other one has to do with your loved ones that had enough of your crap.
Right.
And anyway, and then sometimes... Oh, I knew an old boy, he was taking the anger management class. In the middle of that, they said, well, alcohol might have something to do with that. So, he get here thinking about he's managing anger. Next thing you know, he's finding out it's fueled by alcohol, and need to work on that too.
There's the fourth L. Learn.
Yeah, learn.
Learn.
Oh, I got to tell you, that's what Scott said this show's focus is. We're trying to help educate, reduce the stigma, and offer hope.
Yep.
A lot of compassionate people want to do something, want to try to help, but they don't know what to do.
Don't know how.
And then sometimes they enable instead of help.
Right. I understand that completely.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And then we find a lot of people that just because there was that one day, they run afoul of the law, they come seeking us out, and it turns out they really don't have a problem with a drink or a drug. It's just that was just that one day.
Sure. But they still learn.
Yeah.
They still learn and meet and come away with something.
Yeah. I was kind of recalcitrant. That means you're like a teenager arguing about everything. And it took a bit for the folks to educate me. You chucked.
When the brain says, oh, maybe they're right, kind of a thing. I'm working on that.
Well, it applies to so many things in life. Sure. But our main focus has to do with people with alcoholism problem, not just alcoholism or an addiction problem.
Sure. It seems like people who have like any kind of an addiction, they're addicted. It could be to anything. It's just a personality trait. Addiction comes easier for other people.
Okay, there's something about that. That's true.
Is it true? Yeah,
that's true. But it's a question of degrees.
Sure.
Let's put that in there.
Sure.
Some people have done something so long that in error, so to speak.
It's like muscle memory. They don't know how to not do it.
There you go. And so for a lot of people, it's just training your mental muscle memory to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
But we back to the thing about the addictive personality. An addiction is not quite the same as a want to. Okay? I've never seen myself running down the street half clothed at 3 o'clock in the morning looking for ice cream. Okay? You know,
that's a good scenario.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Doesn't have to be to that degree, but just because I wanted something didn't mean I put myself through
in that crazy situation.
Yeah.
But when it's more than a want, you could do some
so a lot of
unsavory
times
things.
The education has to be sorting out. Is it just a want to, or a lot of the people we work with, it's a have to at some point. Started out as a want to, and you do it long enough and it's a have to. You don't know any other way.
Yep.
An interesting thing, they talk about alcohol as a central nervous system depressant.
Okay.
It lowers one's inhibitions about so many things because you just don't recognize stuff.
You turn into a completely different person. I mean, I know I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you turn into that completely different person for so much time on end, it's kind of hard to get out of that.
Yeah, and it's just so strange to me. It's like, where is that other person hidden? Where does that come from when you drink? And where are they in your mind that they can come out at that point?
I don't know that I have all the answers.
You don't have that degree.
Well, I talk to a couple people once in a while with a degree, and what seems to happen is we all have a little bit different reasons for that. I'm not talking about necessarily a chemical imbalance.
Sure.
I'm talking about
social.
One of us, we went from social to I can't stop sort of thing. And that other person, it has to do with something I did in my past that, like, I don't want to be hurt, so I avoid contact with people. Sure. I drink to isolate. And then sometimes that's continued to the point where in your relationship with somebody and they want to talk a little bit more about something you didn't do or didn't want to hear about. So I have a drink to get away from that sort of a thing. Or
sometimes even the complete opposite. I can't talk to anybody unless I have a drink. I bet it's the same for some people.
So those things are all a little bit different for each person. But there's a place in one of our books that talks about glass in hand, I warp my personality. And it's got a lot to do with the thing you do the most, you become that after a while. Mm-hmm. There was a Greek play from thousands of years ago called Morning Becomes Electra. And this guy named Electra was so sad all the time, it just became his personality. If he wasn't crying about something, that wasn't Electra.
And same with people you hang out with. It's like the top 4 people you hang out with, that's how your personality is going to develop. So
my old buddy Barry,
who you want to be.
He says, run with the winners.
Yep.
And back in the day, glass in hand, the winners I run with were the ones that seemed to be the most happy, loudest ones in the bar, or however you want to put that.
They seemed happiest.
Seemed.
They seemed happiest.
I've lived a bit of a lie once in a while. I can understand that. But I guess part of what I was saying, even though you ask a slightly different question, was a lot of different ways for people to get here.
Sure.
And when they're here, they're asking, what?
Now what do I do?
Yeah.
And that's a good thing that you have all these different professionals because it's different for everybody. Life is a different journey for everybody.
Yeah.
And how they traverse back to being where they want to be is different too.
Like these professionals, they've all got a different perspective on it. Their education gives them something. Some people on the show I told you about the different people trying to help. their perspective on helping. If your degree is in therapy, you deal with a tremendous number of people that have disorders that have nothing to do with addiction or alcoholism, so to speak.
Sure.
And that's the way a lot of the people come from it that are here. But and I got to tell you something about my daughter was on the show last week, and she pointed out, she's a therapist, that when she does a diagnosis that's got to do with substance use disorder, you always get another disorder to diagnosis. You can't just get a substance use disorder diagnosis without having something else wrong.
Really?
Really. In my book, it says that bottles are but a mere symbol of the problem. Okay?
Okay.
The reason why I drink because I was an alcoholic, okay?
Sure.
But why couldn't I stop or stay stopped? That's the problem
That's
with
the problem.
there you go.
Yeah.
And so the bottles were just a mere symbol of why I drank.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, they can switch from one addiction to another. And then we sometimes call that, a person's got a compulsive disorder, so to speak, what you referred to it a while ago.
Addictive personality or whatever. It's like they
a lot of us say, I want more.
Switch one from another.
Yeah. And it's easy to see or understand if somebody's like a gambling addict or
sugar, caffeine. I mean, there's anything.
Sure.
Anything.
The thing about alcohol and a lot of drugs is not only are they addicted to that personality, but they have a physical component to it.
Mm-hmm. That's why people have the withdrawals and the shakes and things like that, yeah? When they stop.
That's part of it. We're getting into an area where okay.
We need some more science people in here.
Yeah,
okay.
and that's what it really is. Part of what our show has to do with helping point people to this.
Right direction.
To the right direction.
Sure.
Mike Helmer was on the show a couple weeks ago, and he pointed out that we were resource rich in the recovery community in this Greenville and surrounding areas.
Mm-hmm.
There's compassionate people that recognize and try to help provide those services. And we were talking about doctors and diagnoses and those chemical disorders. They see a lot of people because of those things. And then it always seems that part of the personality, you need what we call a 12-step program or when you got more people, I forgot the name for it, self-help groups.
Sure.
You need something like that. And they found that to be true for almost anything when you talk about compulsive people.
Well, and it just seems like if you recognize, you think you're so alone. And then when you talk to people who have the same or similar kind of thing, you're like, oh, I guess I'm not so alone. And it opens you up to talk about it a little bit more. And then you can maybe solve things a little bit easier, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. A lot of places they describe alcoholism or addiction as a disease of isolation.
Okay.
And they say the answer for that is connectivity.
Okay.
Community, connectivity,
Groups, yeah.
Run with winners.
Yeah.
So these 12-step or self-help programs, let's just say, for instance, Weight Watchers Anonymous. Okay, you can think of that as whatever, but even a person without necessarily a full-blown disorder can use the support
Sure.
of like-minded people that want to improve or get better.
Yeah, exactly. So surround yourself with those kinds of people, and
Yeah.
it's just going to be a natural that you...
I also, a discovery I made within the AA community had to do with, they told me this is a disease, it's not a moral issue. And with a disease, there's forgot the treatment. There we go.
Mm-hmm. Treatment,
and
cure.
for me, the treatment for it, well, they tell me for what I have,
There's
there's
no
never
cure.
a real cure.
Yeah, there is no cure.
But
yep.
the treatment is an ongoing treatment
Yeah.
where I hang out with like-minded people and we talk about these things. So I got to put in a plug for the literature-driven aspect of any program. On my own, I rationalized and justified everything. Great process for an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
And that I could make anything seem right if I had just a germ of an idea. I could get that in there, right? But with the literature-driven aspect of the program, it keeps me on track.
Sure.
Instead of letting me run with some of my ideas that might not be the best. But
there's some people out there that have done this for a while and put those books together. They kind of know what they're doing a little bit, huh?
I got to tell you about some of my best thinking. I wind up in jail in Reed City with some of my best thinking. And, a little while later, I'm in AA wondering what happened to a nice guy like me.
That wasn't good thinking, huh?
Yeah, well...
That was that other guy that took over.
Well, they've had me looking at that stuff and writing it down to see if I might have been in error. And it turned out I made a couple decisions.
That weren't so great?
Yeah, and... So when I got to remember, if somebody wants some help in this program, I got to go back to what my book says I'm supposed to do about it, because sometimes old Mike and his ideas...
They weren't the best.
No, ma'am.
Let me refer to the book.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So again, Continuous Miracle continues this discovery and the discussion and welcomes everybody else to come in and talk, call, text. You're in the studios, WGLM, every Sunday.
At 11 a.m., Cara, and I'm
That's
grateful and thankful that you had me here today.
And you know what? That Scott, he was stalking me, I think. He saw me in the station vehicle one day, and he came to the window, and he says, hey, you want to do a program together about recovery? I'm like, okay. No, it's perfect. I'm so glad you guys came. I think this is going to be really good for the entire community.
I got a question.
All right.
Did he say, I got an idea?
He does. He
Okay.
did. He did.
Every time that guy says, I got an idea, I got to...
That's a volunteerism, or
voluntold. Something's going to happen.
You've been voluntold.
But we got a network of people been voluntold. It's just freaking great. We'll be bringing them on as time permits.
Yeah, I know you got some heavy hitters coming up. I saw the list.
Yeah.
And even like art, like we were saying, it's not always just the doctors and the counselors and the courts and all that. I mean, you've got art therapy and just have fun. You can have fun without...
Something beautiful that was done in the local community over the past
a few weeks ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
It came to fruition just a little while ago, and it was called Stigma Reduction Art Art Show, and it had to do with people expressing what they'd gone through in recovery or to get to that point,
or in their family, or any way you want to express it.
And it had to do with if you could express what it was that was going on, you could better understand it, and other people could too.
All the different ways to...
Yeah, so anyway, what Cara was talking about was art therapy, something I don't really understand much of, but I know when I've been able to be expressive about what's going on, it helps me better understand. Someday maybe I'll do some art.
Hey, you never know. Maybe we'll do it live on the air.
Hey, there you go.
I will do that with you.
Thank you.
I can probably only finger paint, though.
All right.
Be okay?
I'm good with that.
Mike, thanks so much for coming on. Discover Montcalm Podcast. You can find us if you want us to explore what you've got going on in the community. We would love to do that. Just give us a call, send us an email. You can find Discover Montcalm on Facebook. We've got the YouTube channel. We've also got an Instagram. We just love to share what we've got going on and throw out some support and education for the community and the businesses. And again, Continuous Miracle, Sunday mornings at 11 on WGLM.
Thanks, folks.
The Discover Montcalm podcast is brought to you by WGLM 106.3 FM, Be More Media, West Michigan Technology and Design Solutions, and DW Video. Connect and follow the Discover Montcalm podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Check out all our episodes at discovermontcalmpodcast.com. We look forward to featuring your business, community, nonprofit, events, and more. Contact Dwayne at 231-250-9624, 231-250-9624. Thank you for tuning in and following the Discover Montcalm podcast.